Hey guys, welcome back. Oh my God. Hey y'all, welcome. We're still getting started, still getting warmed up, so we're gonna give everyone like 5-ish minutes to arrive. But what we're doing today is a live stream for charity. And now I've been promoting this on my channel and on my social media for I feel like forever, but I guess it's just like a week. So I asked you guys to donate to a GoFundMe that I set up for this local church in my community. It's a Black Baptist church, and a lot of the constituents live below the poverty line, and some even live in shelters. And it is the church that I go to, and they're just the sweetest people. And you wouldn't think that on paper we all had that much in common. I mean, we're different races, we come from different states, it's just a lot. So I'm sorry, I get super ADD on these chats, so I have to try to stay focused. So I really wanted to raise some money for them because they need school supplies. The kiddos need back to school stuff. They're gonna need winter coats. They need food gift cards. So right now we have raised, let me see, I think it's over $1,600. I think that's wild. You guys, I think that's amazing because I like this campaign because it's going directly to them. Every single dollar is going to them. I'm obviously not taking a cut, come on. And there's no middlemen, there's no processing agency. Obviously we should all be donating to big causes like the Red Cross and the World Wildlife Federation and stuff like that. But you kind of don't know where your money goes. And so it can feel like you're just sending cash into a void, you know? But this way, you know exactly where it's going to go. And I'm gonna keep you guys updated and send pictures and stuff. And I actually, Shallon, I'm an exaggerator and a liar. Okay, well, you're tuning into this live stream and you're making me money, so keep it up, genius. So weird. People are so weird. People are so weird. Oh, you blocked her. Okay, thank you. Let me see. What was I talking about? Oh, so I was actually thinking this is something we should do a few times a year. Not every month because I know people get charity burnout and we all only have so much money to give for sure. But I think next it would be nice to help a specific family, you know, maybe a family who's living in the shelter system and they're trying to get enough money together for a down payment on an apartment, or they just moved to housing and they have no furniture, they have no mattress. I really think that we can make such a difference because $10, yeah, as an individual doesn't go a long way, but when we put it all together, it really can do so much. And the reason I'm so gassed up about charity is because I tell you guys all the time when you're how do I build self-confidence? How do I make friends? I'm get your ass out there and volunteer. You know, do something good for yourself. And when I was at my lowest points in life, when I really felt I had nothing to give to the world, when I was at my most broke, at my most emotionally bankrupt, I went out and I volunteered. And you realize you have things to give that have nothing to do with who you're dating or how much money's in your bank account or what your grades are, what your body type is. You have value to this world. And it also gives you a good dose of shame. Shame is an extremely valuable thing. It's really hard to be self-absorbed when you're at a children's cancer ward, when you're feeding the homeless at a soup kitchen. Suddenly your problems are blessings, actually. And not we should go and compare ourselves to other people just to feel smug, but it really puts things in perspective. And we need that. We need a big dose of that a lot of times, because with the internet, it's easy to focus on the things you don't have, the life that everyone else seems to be living. It's yo, we are all here, we are breathing, we are alive. If you can hear me, that's great. If you can see me and hear me, that's even better. We're doing good, okay? So we have so much to give back. So the way this worked is you guys donated $15, and a lot of you guys donated so much more. Amazing. And I told you I would answer a question live. Now this chat is going to live on my YouTube channel, so don't worry if you have to dip out, if you have a life. I don't, so I'm gonna be here. And I'm gonna do another one tomorrow. I had only intended on doing one of these. This is the second. I did one yesterday. You can check it out on my channel. But you guys have donated so much and asked so many questions, obviously I'm gonna get through them all. So hopefully we can raise $2,000 by tomorrow. Now the stream is gonna be right here on YouTube, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Right now it's 1 p.m. Eastern time, so 3 hours. Beep, boop, boop, boop. I can do it. So hopefully all y'all in Europe will still be up The West Coast will be up getting their acai bowls or whatever they do out there surfing. I'm homesick. And us East Coasters will be crawling back from bottomless brunch, ready to learn and to stave off the Sunday scaries so we can all do it together. So I'm super dressed down today, you know, like I have very little makeup and I'm just kind of in goblin mode because we're here to learn, right? So I want to start with a question that was a carryover from yesterday. If you guys watched yesterday, this question kind of stumped me. And it was Sarah, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong because I'm someone who's independent, ambitious, focused, mysterious, but still friendly and open, but I never get hunted by men. Like I've done what I can to put myself out there and I'm focusing on myself and bettering my own life. And I don't have unreasonable standards, but I still don't get approached that often. And when I do date guys, they stop putting in the effort almost immediately. So what can I do to get guys to hunt me? So I said yesterday that it's a matter of quality versus quantity, because when you're living right, there's less weeds in the garden. You know, you probably are going to be approached a little bit less because fuckboys are shooting their shot all over the place. All over the place. You know, they've got 10 lines in the water at any given time. And they prey on girls who they perceive as weak. Like low self-esteem, vulnerable, you know, just not in a great place because they know that they can manipulate her easier because she's going to be a little bit desperate. So they're going to see a confident girl and go through these micro calculations, beep, bop, boop, 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 fuck boy computer, and be like, no. And they're going to look right past you. And it's going to come off as an insult, right? But that's good. Let these people self-identify and weed out. And I remember when I got my self-esteem where it needed to be finally, like it was less boys in my life, but a higher quality. And sometimes I would go 3 months without like talking to someone. Like I like boys, so I'm kind of like boy crazy. So that was a long time for me. And, but then like when I did find someone, like he was quality. Because when you are where you need to be, you're evaluating them right back and you're like, nope. You're probably not giving the time of day to more guys than you realize. And that's fine. So also reframe what chasing means. Like I used to think that chasing meant grand gestures, and around every turn there had to be some like grand gesture, like we're in a Kate Hudson rom-com, and like that's not really realistic and it's not sustainable, you know. And I found I was in a relationship like that where it was just like these romantic gestures, and then I realized it was basically just all about my ego, you know. I wanted to be like lavished with attention, and so I was going for someone who just gave me that, but interpersonally, we really weren't connecting. And the thing is, if you go for someone just based on how like they treat you in those big gestures, it's never enough. It becomes like a drug. You're always chasing that high. And it's like the picnic. No, I can't have a picnic anymore. Now we have to have a 5-course meal. Now it has to be a 10-course meal. Now it's dinner in the opera. Like it never ends because there's not that interpersonal connection, you know? So dial things back and try to focus on that connection. And if it's few and far between, that's okay. That's totally okay. Just let it ride. I'm sorry, I put my phone in do not disturb. What is the point of that if I'm still getting notifications popping up? What does do not disturb mean, iPhone? I'm being disturbed and I'm overstimulated. I'm like a cat with a whole bunch of tinfoil balls. Talk about the K-pop artist I dated? No, I can't. I can't, no. It's his privacy, you know, it's both of ours. Okay, so let me find, Okay, so here we go. First question, right? Lurianne says, Shallon, I am the Cardi, like Cardi B. Poor, drama-filled, abusive parents, attention craving with a little victim blaming. I know I'm the worst, but I promise I'm cool. I've been watching every video you've made for 1 or 2 years and finally made the list on everything I do that I'm ashamed of. Cheating, I want drama, I'm not, instead of stable love, I'm a love and sex addict. It all boils down to my emotionally and financially abusive mother. That's a really good way to put it, financially abusive. I know people like that. That's so interesting. I should do, wow, that I'm learning, okay, okay. I unfortunately will have to live with her for another full year until I can financially support myself. I just turned 22. I'm paying off all my stuff in college. She never let me show emotion. She would punish me if I cried, especially. She always tells me I'm not good enough, worthless, a whore. Oh my God. Ugh. And uses money to keep me under her power, stealing unpaid credit cards in my name. I know people like this. Okay. So my question is, I know why I've been acting like a crazy fuck girl who is using love to run away from her mom, so how do I change that? Now that I know why, but I don't know what to do because money is tight. I did just get my marketing degree, so I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know what to do now. I feel like I can't get help and I don't know where I want to go with my life, and being home just makes me so crazy, so I need to start getting it together, you know? Oh, and P.S. I love watching your videos because I feel like you are a wiser, better version of me. Sometimes, sometimes. When I saw your How to Be Confident video, I couldn't believe it because I also pretend I'm someone I'm not. Characters from movies and copy their expressions and all the other stuff you said, except the Superwoman pose. The Superwoman pose is like this. It's like scientifically proven to boost your confidence. It like gets the blood flowing in all the right places. And it's seriously so cool because when I would tell people that's what I would do, they would look at me like I'm crazy, the Superwoman pose. So I relate to everything. Basically, you're awesome. Thank you for all that you do. Okay. So, Lorianne, wow. I get a lot of questions, you guys, from you guys about like toxic parents. And it's so hard because we know we should cut off a toxic friend and a toxic boyfriend, but like, it's not that easy with parents. And it feels so unfair. We didn't ask to be born. And what have we done? And we can look at other people's lives and other children who have toxic parents and be like, well, it's not their fault. Like, what are they doing? Every baby deserves to be loved. But when you're inside of it, of course you internalize it. And of course it makes you feel worthless. And of course you lash out. And like, it's weird now that I'm like at parent age, like I can see how people who have children, like, they're just fucking people, dude. Like, they have all the same problems that you do before you have kids. You know, it's like you think like, well, when you have a baby, it's just this like magic wand and suddenly you've leveled up and you're wiser. And some people, that's definitely true. You reach a new level of maturity, but not for everyone. You're just a shitty person who now has a child that you're making miserable. So I think in this situation, you have to just suck it up until you can get out of there. I mean, your mother is who she is. You're not going to change her for no other reason. She doesn't seem to want to change. And that is heartbreaking. It is truly a tragedy that will never make sense to you. It will never be okay. And it will never not hurt that you got screwed out of having the parent you deserved. And there's someone in my family who experienced that. And she went on to become a mother herself and she was exactly the kind of mother she did not get to be, or she did not get to have. And it's like, it was so inspiring for me to watch that and see that it's possible to stop these patterns. And she stopped them not only in her own behavior, but she stopped them generationally. Like, there will be no more of that. There'll be no more of that in her family line. And she did that. And it was hard. And again, it was unfair. So if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, you keep your head down and you keep working towards that goal. And you get yourself into some therapy. And I know therapy seems expensive, but like, it is the only thing you can buy that is gonna make you richer. That's what they say about travel. Therapy is the same thing. Like, you wouldn't live with a toothache. You couldn't live if your back was out of alignment and you couldn't walk. You can't live if your mind is out of alignment, right? And there are so many resources now for mental health. There's a lot of free therapy. There are so many apps. There's so many books. There's me, but we really have to take a 360 approach. And a lot of times we don't because of that unfairness block. It's like, why should I have to bankrupt myself, spend money I don't have, spend time I don't have for me to go to therapy? I'm not the crazy one. Why should I have to do that? And then also read books on it in my spare time and also download this app and learn to meditate. This is annoying. I know, girl, I know. But you could be right and like, I shouldn't have to. Or you could be healthy and you could be happy. I know, it's unfair. So do everything you can to insulate yourself from this person. And honestly, this is an opportunity to learn to set boundaries because we are gonna need to set boundaries, toxic parent or not, at every single point in our life. At work, no, I'm not checking my emails all day on Sunday. I'm not doing that. With friendships, no, I don't wanna go to that dinner that's $400 a person. I don't wanna do that. With boyfriends, I don't like anal. We gotta set boundaries, right? So this is a practice opportunity. And honestly, if you can set it with parents, you can set it with anybody. Like, once you climb that mountain, like, everyone else is like, no fear. Because what can they do to you that your mom already hasn't? You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing left to fear. You are slaying the biggest dragon up front. And again, it's unfair, but you need to do what you need to do to create a healthy, authentic life for yourself. So financially, keep it tight. You know, save your money, monitor your credit score. Like, call your bank and be like, this is an unauthorized user. I'm not saying file charges against her, but like, I don't know, man. Do what you have to do to insulate yourself from your mother. And that's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. It's unimaginable. But you are dealing with it. You're already dealing with the negative. So get out in front of it and try to come up with behaviors, some things that will make you feel more in control of your life. Whether that's you work until 11 p.m. so you don't have to see her at night. You can only handle coffee in the morning with her, and that's it. If she starts popping off, you get up and you physically leave the house. You get up and you walk out. You're going to the gym. You're taking a walk. You're going to volunteer. You're going to Barnes & Noble and reading a book. You're removing yourself from that situation. She does not get to torture you because she's paying rent. That's not what that gets to mean. And you know, sometimes it is better to move and get your own peace and your own space, even if you're poor, because then you feel just saner in spirit. Like, I got laid off and one time, and like, I was working for myself in between it, and I'm like, I'm so much less stressed than I thought I'd be. Like, I was poor, but I was like proud of myself, and I had that freedom in that agency. So try that. Hi Paige, I love you too. Okay. LG, thank you for your donation. Oh, Sabrina, I don't really have a personal question. I was wondering if you could spill some tea on Tom Holland and his girlfriend, and or just Tom Holland in general. By the way, I love you incorporate women empowerment and self-reflection in growth in your videos. Thank you, Sabrina. So Tom Holland, he was dating Zendaya on that Spider-Man movie. Yeah, freeze your credit, call the bureaus and let them know. This is really true. Oh, and then once you're off on your own, do a credit dispute. That's a really good tip. I'm going to plan a whole series of like financial literacy videos, because I need to learn too. Like I'm right there with you. And yeah, so much of our attitudes towards money is caught up in our parents and our self-worth. It's a whole thing. Okay, so Tom Holland. So yeah, he was dating Zendaya on Spider-Man, but her dad is like crazy and meddlesome, and he basically like broke them up, and he's like, I can't deal with this chick. This is like too much. I know, it sucks. Toxic parents. Even celebrities have them. So I know you guys are asking questions here in the chat, but I'm taking all questions on the GoFundMe. If you go to my Instagram right now, it's Shallon XO, and you click the link in the bio, the link tree. The very top one is a link to the GoFundMe, okay? I think you can also just search my name on GoFundMe. I'm not sure, but that is, leave your question there for a donation. We're doing this for charity, guys. And I'll get to it today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Okay, this is Abby. Longtime viewer from Australia, love your work, love your hair. Thanks, maybe not today, but. So every time someone talks to me or looks at me, I get really worried about how I must look to them. And if a boy, like, if I look up at a boy through my lashes, my under eyes must seem horrifying. I'm brown, so they're very dark and shadowy. Or I turn my head to my side, they're getting my ugly side profile. I have self-worth, like no one is allowed to hurt or use me, but my face is getting in the way of my self-confidence growing. And I follow your advice, my posture is great, my hair is long, I volunteer, but doing good things isn't gonna make my nose cute, you know? I get it. And I've done my research. My problem areas can only be fixed with fillers or surgery. Are these things that I should be considering? Because in every other area of my life, I'm like this serene, natural hippie gal, and I don't want to change myself, but I can't envision loving myself and not worrying about how I'm perceived by others. It's hard to fake it till you make it when you've never known how it feels. Oh, that's a good, and I just want to know how the world looks when you're beautiful. This hurts my heart. This hurts my heart to hear. This hurts. So, I wish you guys had known me since I was like 14. I have basically looked the same. I mean, like, I didn't have like braces or glasses or a mustache or a unibrow or a hook for a hand or a club foot. I have looked mostly like this my whole life, right? And I was invisible. to boys through high school and college. Why? My attitude. My attitude. I got to New York and I was like, I'm here. I was living a life that energized me, and that made me light up inside, and that made me magnetic. And then I started to look at who I actually saw in the mirror, and I was like, why? I never wore tank tops. Like, literally never, ever. Because I was like, my arms are so fat. They're so fat. I'm disgusting. And like, you'll never see me from this side of my face. Oh my God, I hate it. Because I hate that side of my face. And now it's like, I was wasting my youth. I wasted so many years finding flaws where literally no one else was looking at them. No one else. I talk to guys all the time. I've dated like a billion guys. I have. And I had a lot of guy friends. And I would ask them, like, why did you break up with your last girlfriend? Why didn't it work out? Why wouldn't you talk to that kind of girl at a bar? I have never in my fucking life heard. Never. I don't like her nose. I didn't like her jawline when she turned to the side, so that's why I dumped her. Never. Guys don't like girls who are drama, who are tiring, exhausting, high maintenance, insecure, right? And that insecurity falls under the heading of drama for them, which is really interesting because they're smart enough to know that insecurity leads to a very, very difficult person to be around. They always have to talk. They always need reassurance. Where are you? Are you coming home? You didn't look at my Snapchat. Like, it's just like, ugh. I have gotten hotter and better with guys as I've gotten older, only because my attitude has changed. Like, empirically on paper, I shouldn't be hotter. I shouldn't be cleaning up with dudes. I'm older. You know what I mean? It's like I get Botox. But like, I do because I've simply shifted how I perceive things. And that's just what we have to do in life. And like, your nose is a flaw only to you. But look, I'm a big believer of if there's something you want to do and you think it's holding you back from feeling like your most authentic self, get a nose job. Get a nose job. But ask yourself, what's going to happen if you get that nose job and you don't meet your true love a month later? Then what? Step into that reality. Before you get the nose job, step into the reality of, what if this doesn't solve all my problems? Does that give you a sense of panic? Or do you get the sense of denial and be like, oh, but it will. I mean, it has to, it will. No, girl, it don't. You know who follows me a lot on my channel? Models. Like, literal models, like big name models you would know. They follow this channel and they watch that and they DM me their problems. And you know what their problems sound like? Exactly the same as your problems. I'm getting negged by a fuckboy. I got ghosted. I feel so insecure. Why is he dating this girl who's prettier than me or uglier than me? What didn't he see me? Like, all of our problems as women are exactly the same. And it doesn't matter if you work in HR or you work on the Victoria's Secret runway, because some of them do. Like, the problems are our problems. So that tells me it's actually not about our cup size. It's probably not about our lips and our nose and our mustache. Well, it might be about the mustache, but like, your problems are gonna happen no matter what, and you can't keep carving up your face thinking that's gonna fix everything. A good nose doesn't give you love. Maybe it will give you confidence. Maybe it will like be that linchpin that you're like, I feel great. But look, I'll tell you guys, I've gotten fillers, I've gotten Botox, and like, nothing was ever different. Like, I liked the way I looked. Like, I would do little tweaks, and I'm getting some more stuff done in a few weeks. I'm gonna do a video on it. Like, the most minor of things. You probably literally won't even know, but I noticed because it takes me back to the face that I recognize on myself. But like, you know, I'm getting a little older, and you gotta keep it up. Also, it's my face. I can do whatever I want. If people don't like it, they don't have to look at me. Like, whatever. I'm from Orange County, California. This is my legacy. So it's not the face. It's not your face. It's your attitude, and it's your self-love. Because when you love yourself, when you're like, I am the baddest bitch here, guys respond. They're like, yes, you are. Okay. We've all met a guy with big dick energy, right? And like, maybe I can't see his dick. I have no idea if it's big or not. But they've just got this swagger. Like, I've got this crush on this boy, and he's this hipster boy. And I'm like, I am mesmerized by you. Like, mesmerized. And because he just sells it. Dating and attraction, it's sales. He sells what he's got. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll buy that. He's like an infomercial. I watch any infomercial in the world. I'm like, I need that. Yeah, no, I need that knife that can cut through pipe for some reason. So it's not your face. Oh, Michaela, thank you so much for the donation. Oh, okay. We have a question from a boy, a real life boy. Steve said, thanks for all your wonderful podcasts and videos. You're like the fab wise sister this gay dude doesn't have. But I am your sister. I donated $30 because I have what may seem like two career related questions. To summarize quickly, I'm 7 months into a PhD project in engineering. Oh God, you guys are so smart. Funded by a grant. However, this project is not really my interest, though it might have been when I began it. So I'm now on the lookout for another project to transfer to. However, the longer I continue on this project, the less funds this project will have to hire someone else to continue it once I leave. So do you think it's best to leave as quickly as possible so that the research group will have adequate funds to find someone else to finish it and not sour their feelings about me? However, this would leave me pretty much without any source of income until I get another PhD position. And then when I do apply for another one, how am I going to explain quitting so soon, right? My background is in applied mathematics. I literally don't know what that is. Wow. And I want to use whatever knowledge I have towards something with a positive societal impact. Yay! And hopefully be able to teach future students of math in a fun and exciting way. I will be your first student. I have no idea what math is. So I don't want PhD supervisors to think I'm prone to quitting because I'm leaving this project and just shopping around for more prestigious universities. Help! Okay. This is a good question because it might seem kind of niche, but actually I get this a lot. Like, I don't like my job. Should I stay and stick it out or should I jump ship? On one hand, I think there's something to be said for the integrity of like keeping your promises. You know, like if you sign on for a project and it has a finite term, the integral part of me says stick it out, you know, and don't screw other people because maybe you don't like it, because like life is going to be full of stuff that you don't love, whether it's at work or at home or raising kids or with your partner or moving houses or whatever it is. And so I think we have to develop that fortitude, because when I've gotten through something that I didn't like, I'm so much more proud of myself than when it was something like I did enjoy. You know what I mean? When it's that workout I didn't want to go to, but after I did, I'm like, look what I am capable of. So there is something to be said for sticking it out. However, there's also something to be said for life being short, you know? And if logistically it would screw people more for you to just like peter out if you're just going to end up leaving anyway, then cut your losses, you know? And I think in terms of like explaining it to future jobs, what you told me, I think is perfect. It's like, look, I knew from the get-go, or like once I got into it, this project was not for me. They deserved someone better. I didn't want to waste their time and their resources and leave them high and dry. And I really think my skill set can be used elsewhere, because here are my goals. If you just drop out and you're like, I don't know, it was Shark Week and I just like kind of couldn't focus. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. But if you have a valid reason for leaving a job after a certain amount of time, that's fine, you know? Or leave out the job part on the resume if it's under a year. That's what someone says. That's a great idea. You know, like what do I always say? Access is earned. You don't owe anyone your complete history. You just don't. Like, somebody I know was out of the workforce for a while. She was actually homeless, and she was like, how do I explain that? I was like, who fucking cares? It's no one's business. You were on sabbatical in Tibet. You were volunteering with orphans in Guatemala. You were in prison. Whatever it was. Like, you can write your history as you see fit. Okay? It's no one else's. And life is long. I mean, it's long when you're in the wrong job, you know? Ooh, okay. Oh, this is from Miracle. I love Miracle. Her name is Miracle Metcalf. Is that not the most beautiful name? She's like a soap opera villain. I love it. Okay. I'm so proud of you, Shallon. So I'm so bummed. Today I was going to go to a cake concert. I love cake. But now I'm not. So I'll use the money I would have spent on a ticket. Oh, to give some school supplies. That's so sweet. Okay. I don't have a question, but I'd like to utilize this moment to offer awareness to our orcas, those are killer whales, in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, I love where this is going. These are very specific groups of pods. Like a pod is like a herd. You know, there's like a murder of crows and like a white claw of frat bros. You know what I mean? So a pod is whales. These are a very specific group of pods called the J-pod, or the southern resident orcas that call the Puget Sound their home. These guys are pretty much the humans of the ocean, showing signs of extreme intelligence and empathy. Family groups that mimic human life family groups that mimic human families in behavior, bonds, and lifespan. The first blow dealt to them was when a guy from Seattle, rounded them up to sell to SeaWorld. Stop rounding things up, whether they're people or orcas, and selling them in slavery. Stop doing it. They didn't realize that the orcas are families that are residents to our sea. Today, their food source is dwindling because of the dams, also in the Snake River, stopping salmon. Puget Sound is also incredibly polluted with things like PCBs that make orcas infertile. There are only 73 of them left. I just want to raise awareness about them and talk about how chemicals we use upset the delicate ecosystem. It's a chain reaction that really decimates populations without our realizing. This is so true. Like, when we hear things like this, we feel overwhelmed. You know, it's like, I don't know what to do. I can't move an orca into my house. I don't know. But that's why we do stuff like this. We're doing this charity live stream and we're helping in other ways, other people. And maybe this orca thing is going to be our next thing. But awareness is only good if you use it to spark action. Like, obviously don't go to SeaWorld. Stop using plastic you don't fucking need. Or if you are going to use all this plastic, recycle it. And the next time, you know what you can do? You can vote. People only think that voting for the presidency matters. I mean, obviously it does. Look at what happened and where we're at. It's horrifying. But local politics matter even more because those are the things that create like changes that we see in our daily lives, like traffic, pollution, gun control, like stuff like that. So get familiar with local politics. And it really isn't that complicated. Like usually, wow, can you hear that, baby? Why don't I get to scream like that? Why don't I get to scream like that? Because I have reasons. That kid doesn't. You know what probably is going on with that kid? They're probably trying to put like shoes on her. And she's like call the Geneva Convention. Just like, man. So vote. So when you get your ballot, like a paper ballot, or you can obviously do this online, they give you like a little booklet of all the measures and how it breaks down, and most importantly, who supports what measure. So if you see a measure and you're like, I can't make heads or tails out of this, I don't know, and I usually don't. Look, if like an oil company is supporting it, that's not good. That's gonna have a catastrophic effect on the environment. If like the teachers union is supporting something, the nurses union, an environmental group, okay, that's probably the direction you want to go in. So it really isn't that hard. And when we do that, we feel like we have more control. And then that feeling makes us want to do more. Because like when we feel helpless, we just get stuck, right? But we're not stuck. We have so much more power than we think. Like, if we don't have power in this world, who the fuck does? Well, white men. Oh, Joan, thank you. Alicia. I'm in university and I see all of these cute guys walking to and from class. And there's some guys in my class too. How do I get them to approach me in a limited amount of time without running after them? Ooh, that's cute. Well, I'm a big fan of eye contact because like campus is probably pretty small. Like you're gonna run into people again and again. So I communicate through the silent yet unerring language of eye contact. I rarely approach guys, but what I do is I make the eye contact and then I leave space around me. I'm not always with my friends. I don't always have someone next to me talking to me because guys probably aren't gonna approach a girl if they're in a pod, like whales. So you have to like get yourself alone and don't be on your phone. I don't know why, but because we're all on our phone and we all can acknowledge that none of us are doing anything important. We're just like boredom and panic scrolling. But no one wants to approach someone else if they're on their phone. It's very like, it's isolating. So be reading a book or a magazine and be reading something that's interesting, like Psychology Today. Give a guy like an easy icebreaker, an easy way to approach you, you know, stuff like that. But if you're trying to, if they're like literally walking by you, ask a dude a question. Men communicate to solve problems, women communicate to build relationships. So tap into their desire to like give information. And like, excuse me, like I cannot find this building. I'm such a silly goose. Is it over here or over there? And then like, if they know, be like, oh, are you like an engineering major too? Blah, blah, blah. And just only ask 2 questions. That's kind of my rule. I'll ask the initial icebreaker question. I'll ask 1 follow-up. And then if they don't bounce the ball back, okay, thanks, bye. Get gone. Whether this is on campus or walking or at a bar or on a Tinder date or whatever. Like give them the opportunity, be the bait, not the fish. And if that fish don't take the bait, there's bigger ones in the sea. Oh, Jamila, so many of you guys donated without even asking a question. Thank you so much. Mathilde, such a cute name. Okay. So I've been watching all your videos and following all your advice. I'm a sociable person. I'm part of a lot of organizations. I have a lot of friends, and I still can't find a guy. Either a boyfriend type or a one-night stand type of guy. Like, no guy. The only problem is that I can think of is that I'm not a plain Jane. I'm kind of artsy. Basically, I don't know where the straight guys are and what to do to get their attention. Obrigada. Oh, she's from Portugal. I'm so excited. I was just in Portugal. So being artsy is like I was telling the other chick, Sarah, earlier on this cast. It's quality versus quantity. You know, it is going to cut out a big sector of the population because guys are not super experimental. You know, human beings are not in general. People congregate towards things they find familiar. We're tribal animals. We're pack animals. And I don't know very many wolves that run with a pack of orangutans. They don't even live in the same environment, but you know what I mean. It's like we all kind of stick with things that make sense to us. So a lot of guys might look at an artsy girl and think, first of all, I don't think I have anything in common with her. And moreover, she's gonna be judging me. One of my most beautiful friends, gorgeous. She's in fashion, she's a fashion editor, she's the girl about town, always single. Always single. Guys never approach her because she's intimidating. And it's not her personality. She's so low-key, she's so shy, she's like tiny and beautiful. But like they look at how fashionable she is and they think there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep up with her. Like she's gonna look at my stupid powder blue button up with my Barkley zip up fleece and be like, you're a clown. You know, or like my jeans and my t-shirt. Or she's gonna be really high maintenance and she's gonna wanna do all these weird things that like I don't wanna do. She's gonna wanna go to a fashion show every weekend and like literally she likes to go hang out at parks and like have picnics. She's the most low key. And so a guy's probably gonna look at an artsy girl and think the same thing. It's like, well gosh, I don't wanna go to like a gothic seance this weekend or like a museum. What could I possibly have in common with her, you know? And I'm not saying that you need to change yourself. Don't. If this is authentic to you, do it. I was emo for like a while, longer than it was cool. Definitely longer than it was cool. But I was that until it was authentic to me. But I had the same problem. I'm like, why aren't guys going for me? I'm like, well, I'm kind of a niche market, you know? So that was part of the reason I changed it up a little bit because I'm like, well, I want to date more preppy guys. So it's like, I kind of gotta swim in that school of fish. I know that that's like an annoying answer, but it is realistic. So here's what you do. Connect with people in that same artsy category, right? And it's gonna take more effort. You're probably not gonna have as much luck on Tinder as like a basic bitch would. I'm great on Tinder. I go with everything. I'm like a pair of jeans. Just dress me up, dress me down. But I get basic guys in return, so don't get too excited. So like throw yourself into other like artsy pursuits where there might be guys. And again, it's gonna be quality versus quantity. You're probably not gonna meet like 5 guys every time you go out. You might meet 1 dude a month through your like painting class or your pottery studio or the museum exhibit tours that you're doing. But it will create better bonds because it's a lot easier to bond with people when you're engaged in the same activity. It's less pushy. It's not so like awkward and like on the spot as a date or on like Tinder or something where you're like, hi, how are you? It's everything flows more naturally and you can bond on a deeper level. So try that. Like you got to go where your people are, you know? So branch out in terms of how you're going about meeting people or move your own self a little closer to like the basic middle, but that doesn't sound like much fun. It's way more fun to be artsy and emo. Maria, thank you for your donation. Oh, Jenny Vallejo, I was one of these kids. Hi, Shallon. My question is, what do you do when you have realized you're in a relationship with a fuckboy and can't get out? Can't? Say that again. I can't get out of a relationship? What would you tell me if I said, I realize that my eating habits are bad and I can't change them? I don't think can't is the right word here. Won't. You don't want to. Of course you don't want to. Because there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and realizing you have to be your own executioner. Because a fuckboy doesn't leave you, right? No. I mean, they do, they ghost, but they come like slithering back. You always have to be the one to cut off a shitty guy. That's why they're shitty. And I wonder if the word relationship probably isn't summing up your experience. You're probably in a situationship, right? Where you're giving as though this is an equal partnership, and he's not really giving very much back. So if you say you can't get out of it, you need to ask yourself why. Why is this working for you? And if you're like, well, it's not, okay, then change it. Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, and it's gonna be hurtful, and it's gonna feel unfair, and he's probably gonna try to get you to stay because he's smart. Fuckboys are smart. They know it's easier to keep a girl on the hook currently than go out and try to play a new girl from scratch. That's a lot more work. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, you know what I mean? So he's gonna try to keep you in his hand. The devil never just lets you walk out of hell, but you gotta go anyway. So don't make excuses for yourself, and don't tell yourself, can't. Our self-talk is extremely important. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you're probably right. But if you're like, this is gonna be painful, and I'm gonna have to look and examine my decision-making and face the fact that I maybe spent too long with this person, but I'm going to do it, I'm going to get through it, you will be. All right. Stina, your channel helps me a lot. Thank you so much for the donation. Oh. Leah said, education can mean the difference between life and death for the disadvantaged. That is so true. Think about it. Like, if you don't have an education, you're stuck in a shitty dead-end job, you're poor, you probably live in a dangerous area, you're more prone to either being the victim of a crime or committing crimes yourself. I mean, that's so unfair. Nobody should have to suffer that because they can't afford things. And I talked about like why I want to donate school supplies and like why this is so important to me, because a lot of kids, especially homeless kids, drop out of school because they can't afford the school supplies and they feel embarrassed. They feel embarrassed that they can't get their homework done because they don't have a graphing calculator. Like, they don't have the precise kind of notebook you need to like turn it in, wide ruled, college ruled. Who cares? But that's the school system, you know? And if people don't have that, and if they don't have a parent with the means for that, like, yeah, it's hard. They don't have the money for the uniforms, and they're wearing last year's clothes, and they feel out of place. No, it breaks my heart. No one should have to deal with that. Okay. Christina said, I love your videos. Thank you for everything. Oh, thank you, Christina. Oh, okay. Ooh, Eva. Ooh, this is such a nice name. You guys have the best names. I said this last time, but it just never gets less true. I'm a teacher and I provide for my kiddos. I know, so this is another thing. A lot of teachers are the ones buying the school supplies. You know that dumb bitch, Betsy DeVos, the Trump appointed Secretary of Education? Don't even get me fucking started on her. She's never been a teacher. She's never worked in the educational sector. She walked in, she like visited a school, and it was the first day of school, and she's like, where's a pencil? And the teacher's like, we bring our own, genius. We buy them. There's not like a magic delivery system. We purchase them ourselves. And she's like, oh, fucking clown. Okay. So Eva says, you've helped me so much with your advice, so I thought I'd be able to help with this question. It starts out depressing, but I promise it's a good question. So my mom and dad were married for 20 years, and when I was 15, he cheated on her, had an affair with a woman, and now has a child with her. This happened like 6 years ago, and trust me, she's made a lot of progress getting through periods of depression, being suicidal, is the mom. And since her whole family was her life, she gave up so much for my dad. However, she's still constantly talking about it and can't get over the trauma. She hasn't dated anybody since and constantly thinks she's so ugly, saying that no man would want her because she's had a reconstruction on her breast due to breast cancer. Girl, no, you are more than your tits, come on. And I feel like she's too fixated on taking care of her 3 children, even though I'm now 19 and I'm the youngest, which I understand, you know, her kids like are what kept her going, the only good thing she got out of the marriage. But my question is, I would really love to give her more confidence and for her to be happy again. And I think that something that would help is dating. How do I convince her to get back out there and actually make an effort with how she looks? So beware. We can't be half of a whole if we don't know what half we are. Or worse, we don't like the half that we are, right? And I talk to you guys all day long who started dating from a place of weakness and vulnerability and just basically like ego desperation. You know, you were looking for a man to save you from yourself or your circumstances or your boredom or your stagnation or trying to figure out what you wanted to be when you grow up. And you know what you get then? All of those problems still with a man on top of it. It's like a drug. If you aren't healing from trauma and you start drinking, you now have the trauma, and you're also an alcoholic, so you're in rehab for that. It just compounds your problem. It really does not fix anything. And trust me, dating in 2019 is not an ego booster. It is not for the faint of heart, especially if she bases her identity on who she was married to. Then the worst thing I think that could happen is that she completely flips and is like, I need to marry the next guy who pays attention to me. I don't care if he's broke. I don't care if he's abusive. I don't care if he sucks and doesn't like me. I just need someone. You know, she is going through what all of us have to go through if we want to be healthy, which is redefining her identity. So I don't think that dating is quite the answer. I think she needs to do things to develop her self-esteem on her own. First of all, I think you need to sit her down and tell her how her behavior is affecting her kids. Because if her kids are her life, look, how we feel about our bodies mirrors how our mothers feel about their own bodies. I find myself engaging in the same self-talk that I hear my mom doing. Like, I just need to like lose 5 more pounds. But my mom is tiny. She's like a little baby bird. And I'm like, I have mirrored that. So sit her down and be like, so I understand you're going through things, but I need you to know how this is affecting me and my siblings, right? And I know that you're not doing that on purpose, but we listen to you. They're certainly more impressionable. Like, you can't act like this. I mean, I'm kind of a tough love person. It's like, we all have bad things happen to us, guys. You think I haven't had a man leave me? You think I haven't had someone cheat? You think all of us out there haven't experienced that? Of course we have. Of course we have. And we pick ourselves up and we keep moving forward and remind her of that. It's like, yeah, the worst happened and here you are. You're not homeless. You have your friends. You have your family. God is still on the throne and you are thriving. Like, you beat breast cancer. Like, you need to start reframing things in a positive way. Get her out and have her do some volunteering things. Get her out of her world where the worst thing that has ever befallen a human being is the thing that happened to her, which is like a dude left you. It sucks, I know. You get through it. She needs a bit of a cold water splash in the face, and then immediately setting some goals for herself that have nothing to do with her kids, that have nothing to do with family, that have nothing to do with dating. Get her back to who she was before she met her husband, right? When she was an autonomous person. Ask your mom, what was your best day when you were 11 years old? What would 11-year-old you have done if you had a whole day to do whatever? Would you go out ice skating? Would you have baked, sewed, played with puppies? And you're like, that's what we're gonna go do today. We're gonna have your 11-year-old day. And we're gonna do this every Monday. We're gonna do this together. And at first it's gonna be like weird for her, like, I can't do this. And you're like, well, you're fucking going to. And this is where the tough love comes in. It's like, we're not hearing this anymore. We're not hearing this anymore, you know? Because really, what you permit, you promote. And if you keep indulging her in this trauma loop, why would she ever pull out of it? She's getting a great emotional payout. She's getting the attention and the reorientation that she was lacking from her marriage, you know? So it's time to pull out of the tailspin. It's time to just cowboy the fuck up, right? Life goes on. Life is for the living. There's so many more good times to be had. So a dipshit man left you. Good. Great. You've done the hard part. You've gotten out of it. Let's look to the future. Okay. Okay, we've got about 10 more minutes. And like I said, this video is going to live on my channel, so you guys can watch it later. And we're doing a third live stream tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Hopefully everyone's still going to be awake. So if I don't get to your question that you submitted on the GoFundMe today, I will get to it tomorrow, okay? And maybe I hit it yesterday and it's on the first live stream. Okay. Oh, this is good. Ooh. So Denise says, my question for you is, I am child-free. I don't want children, not now, not ever. And I feel like when I bring this up on a first date or in my bio on dating apps, I either scare guys off because they think I'm getting too serious too soon, or they think they can just pump and dump me and I'm fine as a relationship like placeholder. So when do I bring this up during dating? Like, I don't want to get my time wasted or get too invested and then find out they want children. This is a really good question because you guys know I've done a video on it. Like, I am ambivalent about having kids. I actually am leaning more towards having them. You know why? Because I watched the Kardashians and they have such cute kids, and I'm like, oh, do I live like the Kardashians? I'm not sure that's true. Anyway, but like, yeah, I know a lot of people who are like, no, I don't want them. And they encounter this exact same problem with guys. The placeholder relationship, I hear that a lot from my friends. So I think it depends on like what it is you're looking for from dating. If you're looking for like a husband but not a baby daddy, I would search for older guys, like divorced guys. You know, maybe you would be fine being like a part-time stepmom. Being a stepmom sounds fine. It's like, I'll see you every other weekend. Like older guys who have older kids, they don't want children. You know, they're good on that. So look to that sector. You know, look to divorcees. Why not? Or go the opposite direction and look for way younger guys. You know, I assume you're like probably in your like late 20s, early 30s kind of. So you're in like that marrying middle category where people are starting to think about that and like plan for their future, and they should. And like nobody should date if you are not on the same page logistically in terms of the future. I have a friend going through this right now. She's been with her boyfriend. She just left him. They were together for 8 years and never really talked about kids. And now she's like, I want them. And he's like, I don't know. He's such a dipshit. Don't even get me started. I'm already started. Anyway. So you really do have to like sort these conversations out. And it's not scaring guys off. It's just being real, you know, but it's true. You probably don't want to say this like date number 1, but you know what you can do in a sneaky way? You can be like, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, are you going to be like married with kids in a house by the ocean? Are you going to be like jet setting to Rome every weekend? Like, you can put it out there in like a casual, breezy way, you know, and see what they have to say. If he's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not even thinking about that. Like, that might mean he doesn't want kids, or it might mean he's immature and like can't forecast his future. I want to date someone who does have some sort of an idea where they want to take their life. If for no other reason, I like an ambitious person. And you can't be ambitious in the micro and like have no clue where your life is going or where you want it to go in the macro. You know what I mean? So bring it up like that. But yeah, try to like go for like, not the outlier guys, but like not dudes right at your age in that marrying middle. Go for younger guys who are not thinking about kids. But if you're looking for like a husband, then try the older one. If you're looking for a boyfriend and you're like not trying to find like the dude you're gonna be with for the next 35 years, totally go younger. They're hotter too. My boyfriend's younger, he's awesome. Okay. Vanessa, I'm getting tired, man. Okay, Vanessa, I had a major case of the awkwards. Me too. Both socially and in terms of physical appearance as a teenager. And now that I'm a young woman, I still carry that with me and see myself as awkward. It limits me in my relationships and feeling comfortable in my skin. How do I go from feeling awkward to feeling like myself? I want to be able to embrace my sensuality. This is a good question because I went through what I call my slutty revolution. Like when I got to New York, like, yeah, I was kind of like left over from those awkward years. And it's like, I really had to work hard to shed that image. And a lot of it is logistical. Like, I had to get out of my small town. I had to get out of my small college town where that legacy followed me. I didn't want to be Irvine Shallon, Cal Poly Shallon. New York Shallon was a clean slate. There's a reason people move. You got to move on sometimes. So if you don't want to like move and blow up your life, like look at what you're doing. Look at if there are any institutions in your life that are creating that label still. Is it the church you go to where everyone's like, oh, it's Vanessa? Is it like your group of friends that like kind of haven't leveled up either? Who knows? Is it just your behavioral patterns? Like you haven't branched out in a lot of ways, because when we branch out, we get confident. It's like whenever I've taken quantum leaps in terms of confidence, it's when I've done things I was very scared to do. Studying abroad by myself. Like I came back a completely new person because I was terrified and I did it. I made it work. And so I'm like, if I can do this, I can do anything. And then I literally started looking myself differently in the mirror, and I felt this freedom to remake over myself like image as well. Well, Rome Shallon would wear a short skirt. She'd straighten her hair. She'd go out and like grind all over the place. Like that's not what tiny cow Polly Shallon would do. So it allows you to branch out. Travel by yourself. This is gonna unlock your ability to level up emotionally, you know? And surround yourself with people whose vision of you aligns with that new thing. Like I said, it might mean you have to cull the herd a little bit and take people out of your past life. Because like a lot of times when I want to be like sexy on Instagram, I'm not worried about like my boyfriend seeing it or my friends now seeing it. I'm worried about like the girls I knew from college seeing it. You know what I mean? It's like the girls who never viewed me that way. Those people. Oh, what's Shallon trying to do? Act all sexy. Who is she? This is me. I have changed, but it's like I need to block those girls on Instagram. You know, I don't need to keep those people in my life who are dragging me back to the past. So look and see if that's happening and engage in some activities that are sensual. I took belly dance all through college to like get more in touch with my body, like do something physical, like connect with yourself, like book yourself a sexy boudoir photo shoot. Really do what you have to do to redefine how you see yourself. You've done the hard work. You've leveled up in terms of like that beauty. Now you just got to look it in the face, and that's the fun part, right? Okay, we're gonna do one more question, and we're gonna cover all the rest tomorrow at 4 p.m. here on this channel. Okay, Bailey, thank you so much for your donation. 20 bucks, that's so nice. Oh. Okay, last question. Michelle says, I love that you're helping out a good cause. I love that you're helping a good cause. I'm an introverted and nervous person, and I would like to know any tips on how to get over that when it comes to job interviews and meeting new people. So when you're in a time of like emotional crisis, you know, where it's a job interview, it's meeting new people, your mind is looking for any sort of escape hatch. Any getaway car it can find. And so you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna lie to it. You're gonna lie to that brain. When I would go into like a Tinder date or something with like someone like, oh my God, this guy's so hot. You know what I tell myself? He's gay. I'm going to meet my gay friend Tucker. He's a homosexual. He only sleeps with men. And and it sounds so stupid, but your brain is like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna go with that. That's fine. And it really does calm you down in like that little crisis point. And it might not work the entirety of the entire date. You might have to keep saying it to yourself, but it's gonna bridge that gap, that craving. You know, like a craving for a cigarette or a bad piece of food or something. You just kind of have to like get through that like 30-second craving, and then you're like, I'm back in control. I can do this myself. So reframe the situation. Don't be like, I'm meeting this new person and they're going to judge me and oh my God, and is everything I'm saying funny? You're like, this person is passing through my life like a cloud passes through the sky. Hi, how are you? That's great. I expect nothing from the situation. I need to give them nothing. I am good as I am. That's a mantra that my therapist told me, because I tend to like, I get like this too when I panic eat or drink. Like I always need to have like something in my mouth. Like when I was a kid and I would get anxious, my grandmother would feed me, you know, that, I mean, she would literally stop me crying by shoving food into my mouth. And so that's how I learned to like pacify myself, you know? Yeah, so when I started telling myself the mantra, like, you're okay exactly as you are. You're okay exactly as you are. Again, that brain wants a triage. It wants to get out of that moment. So just, even just unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, take your tongue off the roof of your mouth, and take a deep breath. Breathe into that belly. And then outside of these situations, do things that will keep you calm. Meditate, do yoga, connect with nature, put your phone away for 2 hours a day, and just walk around looking at things and taking in the sights. Mindfulness really, really helps to cultivate that calmness, that baseline calmness, so that when we are in those moments of stress, we have more tools to handle it, right? The spikes aren't quite so high. Okay, guys. I am out of here. I'm going to go do some things. It's Saturday. It's also Fashion Week. I'm debating going to a party tonight. Be sure and watch my new Post Malone video. I put it up yesterday because in it, I asked you guys for your suggestions on what you would like to see on a Shallon website. I'm building my website. Hopefully it's going to be done in a week, and that's where you guys can connect me. You can submit questions there. You can shop. You can binge watch. But like, what else? What else do we want from the Shallon entourage? The Shallon universe shall contain what? So go to that video, leave it in the comment section, and let me know. And this is going to be Are you guys like fighting in the comment section? I hope not. I'm glad you like the post he did. Okay, you guys are helping each other. Okay. Oh, I promised you a happy ending, didn't I? Okay, you guys wanted a happy ending, right? I know, I promised you one. Okay, we're gonna do it. Oh, I told you I was gonna do dirty talk. I lied. I'll do it tomorrow, I swear to God. Okay, but right now, let's talk about how to be on top, okay? This is our happy ending, how to be on top, right? I hate being on top. It's exhausting. It's so fucking tiring. But guys love it because guys grow up on porn and porn is very visual. So in their mind, they want to see what they're looking at when they watch a porn. There's so much POV porn, like point of view. So they just love like your angles, your boobs are gonna look super perky. They're laying down, like your boobs are gonna look perky. You're gonna look thin. Like I always hate to be on top because I'm like, oh, I'm like a big fleshy like gumdrop, just like killing this guy. If you're a big girl, who cares? He can see how big you are. He asked you to get on top. He knows what he's getting himself into. Get on top. So a good thing to do if you're on top that they're just gonna like love, and it makes it easier for you because I don't know about you. I don't have the quad strength to like bounce up and down on my quads for like 5 full minutes. What am I, a track and field athlete? Are you kidding me? So get on top and sort of balance yourself by leaning forward and choking him. Remember, when we choke, it is a cuff. It's not a claw. It's not a claw, right? That's just uncomfortable and that hits your tendons and it's painful. A cuff gives you that nice pressure. You're like, oh, that's nice. And it cuts off just enough oxygen. And again, if you're choking him too much, he'll tell you. Boys never feel shy about disseminating what they want, all right? That's what girls do because society has told us we don't get to tell people what we want. We just have to be polite and sit still. No. So balance yourself kind of like leaning forward, like one hand like by his shoulder and the other hand like the choke. And then it's gonna be easier from that angle to sort of like bounce your bottom up and down, almost like a twerk. And that's good. But remember, you don't have to be on top longer than you want to be. But if you are, like if you're not doing a lot of like moving around like with the quad strength, make it flashy. Like take your hair down like, ooh. Maybe use a clip and not like this in wet hair. Oh, that's sexy. Yeah, just like make it very visual. Any amount of laziness can be balanced out by something visual, right? You know, the guys are very easily distracted. You could bring like a ball of tinfoil and you'd be like, whoa, what's that? You know, so just make it visual and then switch it up and make him do the rest of the work. Easy breezy. Okay, I'll give you a dirty talk happy ending tomorrow. So, yeah. Spill the tea on Cobra Starship. Oh, I love Cobra. They're my friends. I was just thinking about them the other day. Gabe was one of my first friends in the emo scene. They're lovely. They're wonderful. I will actually do a video on my emo phase. It's so super embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as whatever I just done in my hair. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Like I said, if you have a question you want to submit, you have until 4 to submit it, and then I think I'm going to close the fundraiser. I really want us to hit $2,000. I know we can do it. So go to my Instagram, ShallonXO, click the link in the bio. First link there is the GoFundMe, okay? I'm also gonna put it in the metadata here so you can just click it directly, but it's for a really good cause and we can also all get help on our problems, okay?